Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday to you. I hope you are having a wonderful day so far. Welcome into Project Joy Live. It's your triple shot of good vibes every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at this 9 a.m. Eastern Time hour. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas, and coming up on this show, we are going to talk about asking better questions to get better answers and all of that fun stuff. And where language ties in, that brings in our fabulous co-host today. Oli is here, everybody. So he'll be coming up here in just a few minutes. Okay, so I'm have my poor little brain is going 900 miles an hour this morning. I have had a really challenging start to the year up here because there's a lot going on in my world. There's a lot going on personally. There's a lot going on, as I've mentioned on this show, with the homeschool community and politics and things that I honestly, if I would have made a bingo card for this year, these things would have not even been in the spaces, if I'm being frank with you, okay? And so here I am checking them off left and right, getting me a whole full card bingo. It's what I'm doing over here. And so I have had a few conversations in the last couple of days, and I want to publicly thank a couple people who it's not about calling them out in a message in the method of like they're the only people in my life, but it was a perfect storm, a beautiful storm of time and place and the way things have happened. Claudio, Peggy, sang, Teresa, uh those four individuals the last couple of weeks, as I have been in the trenches of what I've been dealing with, um, have been there to help me process through things in ways that they don't even understand. And that brings me so much joy this morning because I've really been going through it. Like there's no other way for me to say it. And then of course, you know, outside of those four people, the community that I've been in has provided this sort of like cushion of joy, if you will. Ollie, my co-host today, being a part of that, and Daria and Louise and Artemis and Shadows and Brittany and Danielle, like like I have this like focus space that I'm in, and then this lovely cushion to sort of to be a part of that. And so, I know that so I realize in talking to people the way that I've talked to them this morning that everything, including all of what I just said there, is very vague. But all I can say is this is the most clear I have ever felt in my this life, human existence. And something really big is happening with me, and it's good. It's good. It's a lot. It's a lot when you process through things. We've talked about that before. This is the Breakthrough Show Network. And when you experience big breakthroughs in your life, that doesn't always come. That's not like you're a little pool boy coming up to you with a silver platter going, here's your food and beverage, right? Like sometimes breakthroughs, you are simultaneously laughing and crying and rocking in the corner, somewhere. And it's a lot to process through these big things, that when you have these big realizations, and it all to me goes back to the importance of having that soft space to land, having a supportive community around you who, even when life is insanity, they're like, hey, take a breath, appreciate and value yourself. I'm here for you. Even if there's nothing that they can actually do for me, like hearing that I love you, you're valued, you're appreciated, you're doing good, keep going. Like it's such a big deal. It's such a big deal. And I go back to something that I say all the time, which is that community is essential in this life, because I cannot believe that we would be put on a planet with this many people if we are intended to just be alone all the time. Doesn't mean we can't value that, you know, self time, that self space, right? But God, community is important. It's so important. So important. Connection is so important. So important. And a lot of this is really at the heart. I'm getting misty over here. A lot of this is really at the heart of my own realizations this morning about myself. And the hard, like the shadow side of this is realizing what, when you have devalued yourself, how that completely changes how you show up. It completely changes it. So therefore, when you value yourself, when you have a deep understanding of yourself, it also completely changes how you show up, and in a completely opposite way. And so big things are coming. I don't know how else to say it. It just is this morning. So at any rate, I'm a little emotional today. It's a lot going on up in here, but I'm so happy through all of this that I will have Oli on the show today to help us process through words when there's a lot of them happening up here. So let me check in on the comments over here today. Oli was here. He was warming up the audience today, which by the way, let me say hello to Oli really quick. Ask your best questions if you would like from us, your best answers. First question, how are you feeling today? And what brings you joy? Okay, that's question number one. So y'all can answer that in the comments before Oli comes on. How are you feeling today? And what brings you joy? Speaking of hyping up the audience, did you guys catch the premiere of the Ripley show yesterday? That was such a big part, I think, of what I'm personally experiencing this morning, because so much, you know what? Everything went right yesterday. It just did. From a you could look at it from a tech standpoint and be like, what in the ever loving hell happened there? But everything went the way it was supposed to. And I think in that moment, one of the things that helped me is that I have been doing this broadcast work for so long that it is the nature of who I am to like when it to just roll with it. Like, life happens, things happen, and if I could take that, what happened on the show yesterday, and apply it to every single thing that I do, I would be unstoppable. Y'all are in trouble. Y'all are in trouble. Okay. And so anyway, I just, I have to thank Claudio again for giving me the opportunity to produce and host that show, The Ripley Show. You can find the mainstream on the Ripley YouTube channel. It is simulcasting on the Breakthrough Show Network, so you could find it here as well. But definitely get plugged in once it opens to ripley.com. It's RIPPILY.com, and come be a part of the community aspect of it. Come be in the studio audience, come be in the gallery, come hang out and have a good time. Build your worlds with us together. It's such an amazing experience, and I'm so blessed to be a part of it on the ground floor. Sang is here this morning. Happy day. We are going to make it amazing, my friend. You hear me? Do you hear me? Is this on? You're going to do amazing today. Teresa's here this morning. Good morning, Teresa. Good to see you as always. My neighbor is here this morning, Miss Melinda, joining us live from the front porch here in New London, Connecticut. Oh, love it. Good morning, Miss Melinda. Always good to see you outside. Miss Melinda is so great. She will text me and be like, you have a package on the front porch. She is my personal assistant. is what it is. She's like, Miss Jessica, you have a package on the front porch. And so then we go get the package. And every now and then I get to see her when she'll happen to be outside when I'm going out for, an errand or something like that. And Melinda, you just bring joy to my life and I know my husband loves to go out and have some Melinda time and my kids too when they're out there. So thank you for being you, Miss Melinda, this morning. All right. Without further ado, we are going to word the words like no one has worded before. Oli is here today. Let's do it. It's time to pardon all of our French. Welcome back, Oli.
Bonjour et bienvenue. And before we are getting to motion, I would like to thank you again for the person that you are, for the advocacy, and for being one of the caterpillars. I love because you are not a butterfly, but a caterpillar of this amazing community. And also the fact that it's we see the brightness in front, and sharing our struggles is also as important as sharing our success, because else we live in a world where everything is fine, everyone is happy, and it's not always the case. So I'm not going too much into the details because this is not the purpose, but I, Oli, in Belgium, have my own struggles. And if only it was just like, what I'm going to butter in my bread tomorrow, pâté crème or cheese, or it's even worse than that. But the fact that you said, and I will add to the list, Dr. CK, Jamie Rich, Claudio that you mentioned, and also Kat. The evening yesterday with Kat,
Yes.
with poetry
Yes.
reading was amazing. And so we are surrounded by online, through Ripley or elsewhere, and offline communities. Like in my life, I want also having gratitude to Sébastien, all the people that I meet face to face, Benoit, where we are in a group, people that try to help each other also in the locality. It's really great to have online friends. I don't know where I would be if I was not having online friends, because I'm not so much social. On face-to-face is not easy, but face-to-face is also important. So back in our topics, what are your first questions, dear Jessica?
Well, I want to just comment really quickly because I think for me where I've arrived at is it's just amazing to have friends. Period. And in that being part of a community because I think one of my biggest challenges in having a global see I'm emotional over here. Okay. One of my biggest challenges in having a global community online is this sort of um, differentiation that people have between online relationships and in-person relationships. It doesn't work that way in my brain. It never has. I have been so incredibly impacted and made to be a better person because of the connections that I've had online. And so to differentiate that for me at this point in my life, to go, there's online friends and offline friends does a completely disservice to the way all of you have changed my life.
Good point. And the best example was last year when you met for 90-second RJ.
Yeah, it just takes a few seconds. That's it. So yeah, that's where it's beautiful. It's connection is an amazing, wonderful thing. And so questions today. Why is asking good questions important to you?
not only to ask for others, also to ask for myself. And one thing that I'm going to develop a bit later in this session is really important. Even if we are speaking to ourselves, it's great to ask ourselves questions. Either we can reply it verbally or write, but even if we don't seek for an answer, it's important, and I'm going to reveal why later. But especially for others, because it's about helping ourselves, but it's also about helping others and asking questions also when someone is interacting with us. That leaves the door open for them to put their own part. Because if we don't ask questions, what is the risk? The risk is assumption. We think A, and in fact it's B. But by asking, is it true A? Then the other person say yes, no, or not really. And the person can bring their own part. Interaction is really important in order to ask questions, and it opens the door. It fades the polarity. When you ask questions with curiosity, without any judgment, it fades the black and white, because there is a lot, unlimited range of responses between 0 and between 1. The world is not binary.
Right, right. I think I want to one part of what you're saying that I want to address first is asking questions with curiosity. I was talking to somebody the other day about how, how often we'll see somebody we know, right? We're at the grocery store, we're getting some food, we run into somebody we know and we go, "Hey, how are you doing?" And then they go, "Fine, how are you?" And you go, "Fine, hope you have a great day." And you move on. Did you really Were you really curious? Were you really wanting to know how they were doing? Were you really wanting to know? And then it brings it, were they really wanting to know? And we were talking the other day about how, when someone asks, "How are you doing?" and we just say fine, because what would happen, and I've done this experiment, what would happen if you said, "I'm not really doing great. I have this going on in my life and I'm feeling really frustrated and I'm not really doing I'm barely holding my head above water, blah 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 blah," blah, right? And you can watch, because I did this one time. I said, for one time I'm going to answer honestly, right? And I watched their face go to this like, what is she talking about? Because they expected me to say, "Fine, thanks. How are you?" and not the
Yes,
truth.
that leads to the first insight. When we ask curiosity questions, um, do we have enough time behind
Mm,
to gather the answer, and also how to express that we want an answer that is 5-10 seconds. Because if we don't, the person can glue you for a 10-minute explanation.
yeah, very true. So being intentional about, like, asking the questions with curiosity, but being intentional about it. If you don't have time for somebody to give you the truth of their answer, perhaps it's not the time to ask that question.
Mm. Same with with nowadays, with whatever I do. Before I plan to do things in my calendar, do I have the bandwidth? Because
Mm,
if I know that I have just 5 minutes to breathe between two activities, I might remove one of the two activities so that I can breathe longer.
mm, yeah. I think the other thing too, part of intentionality is being specific about what you want to ask. Now, what you were talking about of, posing a question with an A or a B as opposed to, like, how do you feel about A and B? I think it's something along those lines. But I think that that's really important because it gives people an opportunity to expand as opposed to what you were talking about with the yes or no, or sometimes maybe, like this sort of short answer. um and I think that um it's important to, like, the A and B questions are, I guess, even in the legal world and in the political world, like I have seen, they're leading questions. They're questions that can get a person to respond in a way that you're going to enjoy, that you're going to like, you know.
Yes, or turn their next sentence on their own on their own terms.
Mm,
So that it's intentional directive questions that are we don't know why they are doing why they are asking questions anyway, because whatever our answer is, they have already their message prepared.
right. Right. They're not asking out of curiosity. They're asking because they want to respond in the way that they want to respond in, right?
Mhm.
So, your question today, how are you feeling today? How are you feeling today? That's always, that's one of those questions, like I was saying, that out in public is always a pretty pretty loaded question for me, because I'm never quite sure. Are you asking because you really care how I'm feeling today, or are we just, we getting a formality out of the way so we can finish our grocery shopping kind of situation, right? And so today, how am I feeling? I am feeling inspired. I am feeling energized, energized enough to feel like I could put some in a bottle and share some with my friends. and and I also feel very overwhelmed at the same time, because there's so much happening in my brain at once. But it's not an overwhelm. It's not a I'm upset by the overwhelm. It's just simply there's a lot at one time. So that's how I'm feeling today. How are you feeling today?
Before I answer the question, just let you know in the chat. Feel free to also answer the question if you would like, because I generally would like to know how are you feeling, even for people like Melinda that I don't know yet. And I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm feeling a bit fearful, and yet I'm feeling hopeful because I know the actions that I want to take so that I have less overwhelm or I'm more with clarity. I know the actions I'm going to take, and in terms of all the scenarios, I try to not be too much stuck in the past or in the future, to stay in the present. But in terms of all the scenarios of the future, even the worst scenario, I am safe. And that comforts me. I'm not going too much to reveal the details, the personal details, but um, I feel safe. I feel overrun, but I feel safe. And I know that as long as I do the actions, and as long as I am opening my door to receiving help that I will ask, then there is hope that things are going to turn on.
I love that. And I really appreciate you sharing that. And I appreciate that it sounds like we are both in a place of feeling many things at one time. And I think to be able to live a life like that, to be able to experience a range of things at one time, is really where the joy lives.
Yes, and that's why I'm really on my quest to questions. And thanks to you to really explore um, questions that allow us to be in a higher energy
Mm,
vibration, love, peace, joy, satisfaction, and to avoid. It's also difficult for me because Some schools are saying just focus on what you want to achieve, and uh, anything that you want to avoid, don't talk about that. But sometimes it's also good to know what I want to avoid. Um, but at the same time, it's more about also working on the past seeds that is in my mind, because the most challenging is not the question that you ask for others, is the question that you ask for yourself. And sometimes it's negative oriented questions that makes you already heavy, as long as you are speaking the question or you are thinking about the answer. And for instance, inner judgmental questions. What am I doing?
Mm,
Why am I so da 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 da?
yeah. Um, I would love to have you chime in on this, Ollie, because it's something as I am thinking about, as I talked to a couple people this morning and also watching the chat today during the show. Um, I have talked about this. I talked about this, I don't know. I think it was during COVID, when there was a lot of emotion going on from the outside world. And it was a lot to take in, honestly, on social media. And I felt so indifferent. I'll just use a generic sort of idea here. When I'm in a room with people who are, when they're asked that question, how are you feeling today? And everybody in the room is like, say I'm last to answer, and everybody in the room before me has said, I'm having a horrible day. My life sucks. My wife left me. My kids are being brats. I lost my job. My house caught on fire. The whole room is exploding with this. My life is horrible. And then it's my turn to answer the question. And let's say that my life is not horrible. I didn't experience any of those things that the other people in the room experienced. Even if I did, maybe I don't even view it that way. But now in that room, I feel a pressure to either not answer honestly or to make something up to make it sound like my life is really bad too, because there's that, I don't know, there's a pressure there. And the complete opposite can happen. If you're in a room of people who are saying, my life is amazing, I'm having a great day, I'm so fired up and motivated and excited, and now it's your turn to answer and you're having a really hard day. There's a pressure then to not answer honestly, or to feel like you have to make something up or be somebody you're not in order to, um, you know, be feel safe in that space. What are your thoughts about that, Ollie?
Wow, my brain is on fire. And first, thank you so much for telling this, because I think that the most important um, is first to acknowledge what was said.
Mhm.
In case if all the person was not feeling well, before you tell anything, you say, first, I'm so sorry to hear what's happening in your life. In my side, I feel amazingly good. Um, and then you can also turn them to a question, if you like. How could we make this moment, this session, as good as possible, no matter what happens?
Mhm.
And then in the other side, if they are all happy and you are sad, then you say in the same way, I thank you for expressing your joy. Right now in my life, I don't share this. I feel really sad because of, and then you can summarize or just a little bit. Uh, and at the same time, you say, but I'm here and I will do all my best to be uplifted by you. You can, maybe that it's what I feel in my head. And then there is a metaphor, a story. In fact, I don't know if it's a true story, but it's a story that was compelling. Was in, I think it was, let's say it's in a plane hall. People are waiting their flights. There are lots of cancellations or whatever, or people cannot find their luggage, or I don't know. the atmosphere is so heavy. And then there is this woman, and she get out of her bag some balloons, the inflating balloons.
Mm-hmm.
And she is making some balloons objects. And she is giving all the balloons to the children and to the person that are willing to receive it. Whatever happens, for me, the question that is always, I'm not good at that yet, but what is in my control?
Mm-hmm.
No matter what happens, what could I do to differentiate myself? Something that I learned really is like we tend to be in a group and to be doing what the group is doing. And doing really something different is not easy. But it's like we don't have to be sheeps and say bah, bah, to really follow the herd. We can be this kind of angel sheep that is doing his part to make this world a better place. And so I learned that about differentiation, and that's not easy. It's easy to know and to theorize. It's not easy to do, but it's about the best anecdote was many years ago. I don't do that anymore, but many years ago was a webinar during the pandemic, and all people were, pardon my French, were swearing, and I was swearing myself. And then a friend of mine says, "Look at what you said. Do you realize?" And I realized after, but in the moment I was like contaminated, absorbed by the whole group. So for me, it's about knowing to not be shameful about what you say, or to not refrain you to express that you are joyful, but just to turn into the way that you acknowledge first what was said before.
I appreciate that. And I think that I'm trying to find my words that are there, but they're buried.
Take your time.
I think that it is important to know that this month in Saturday Morning Coffee, we're talking about courage. And I was just realizing as you were answering that question that it takes tremendous courage to really ask questions with a curiosity and a willingness to hear and digest whatever the answer is. And it also takes a tremendous amount of courage to answer questions from a space of, I know some of you that know me well are going to be shocked and gasp when I say this word, with authenticity. To be able to answer the question with courage of just who you are and not succumb to the pressure of how everyone else expects you to answer. That takes tremendous amount of courage.
Of course, it's a learning, and when for any questions that we asking ourselves or others are asking us, it's also to realize it's like when there is stress, there are tools. We are breathing. We are trying to calm down. When there is a question and it's not the time, it's to realize ourselves, do I have the bandwidth right now to answer the questions? And do I have the bandwidth to do the task that is within the question? Because sometimes the question is like, can you help me? Can you do this? Can you? And it's like, it's also setting boundaries. I'm not able, or I have not the time. And another thing that I realized for my neurolanguage training is one question at a time, because there are some people that are throwing at you 2, 3, 4, 5 questions, and the brain is all over the place trying to find at the same time the answer of these 5 different questions. And it's like having a bottle of water and trying to water 20 plants at the same time. It's not possible. So I think, and then the last nuggets is to allow time for the person to reply to the question. This is not a score test like a no. We can allow the time for the person to reply to the question. There is no good or bad answer, and no good or bad pace between the question and the answer.
People can be uncomfortable with the silence and with the space, while waiting for an answer, especially
Oh,
when we're in spaces like this where it's, we're we're live and people are like, "What is happening? Why are they not talking?" And there's
but
ways
then
around that, but go ahead.
but then you can also tell the person, let me think about that, or thank you for your question. Let me take some time before I answer to you.
Right, right.
So that you are not making yourself or the other ashamed about the silence, because it's not because there is a silence or a long time between the question and the answer that you are not sure about the answer. You want to provide an answer that is your honest answer, and that is the answer precision that the person is telling you, because sometimes the person is asking you a question and then you are trying to provide an answer that might be the best answer to the person.
Right, right. All right, but we're going to take a quick break. But before we go to break, what is a question that we can ask the chat to answer while we're on break? Do you have a suggestion?
What is for you the moment this week that will bring you joy?
Okay, what is the moment this week that will bring you joy? Now, I need everybody to answer that in the chat. Practice your courage, and we'll be right back after this.
Breakthroughs are about more than you might think. They're about discovering who you are, digging deep, reaching to the core of your soul. They're about healing yourself, understanding your beliefs, creating a ripple effect. And it's not just those initial moments that matter. It's about using them to bring more joy into our own lives and the lives of others. It's about having fun, letting loose, enjoying every moment life has to offer. It's about finding a safe space. It's about creating connection. Join us each and every day for exclusive programming, special events, and a community to call home, where we invite you to explore, change the way you look at and live your life, and go beyond the breakthrough. So we ask you, are you ready? We'll see you online at thebreakthroughshow.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to Project Joy Live. Today is Wednesday, March 18th, 2026. I'm here with Oli, my fabulous worder of all worders, Oli. I'm so glad that you're here today, and that what a perfect day to do this. What a perfect day to have this conversation. The question of the moment is, what is the moment this week that will bring you joy? And you see how that question is posed, everybody. Do you recognize what is being done with that question right there? It is doing exactly what Ollie's talked about, which is framing things in a certain kind of way. So it's fantastic, and I want to. Teresa said the moment this week that brings me joy will be right now. That's how she's answering that question.
What a beautiful answer.
Thank you, Teresa. Thank you for leaning into your courage this morning.
And everyone in the replay, feel free also to answer the question, because it's not because you are not live that you cannot answer this question.
Yeah, absolutely. We will find the answers and we will answer you back. What about you, Ollie? What's your answer to this question?
I original, I will say like Teresa right now, because now is an amazing moment that you offer to us. We are offering to each others. And probably, this evening, I was not thinking about today, but I was thinking this evening I'm going to be with my dad. I don't know if it's for the few hours or for the whole night, but it's a moment that brings me joy, because, and I'm not going too much into the details, but it's personal story about the health of my dad, and that he's feeling a bit better since few weeks. Yet we never know. Now could be the last moment that I could see my dad alive. He might leave this world in 5 years, in 5 weeks, or in 5 days. We don't know. So now is the only moment that we can act on something. And there is a part of me that says, well, let's focus on your business and blah, blah, blah. Let's stay and let's see you that later. But there is a part of me that says, today is an opportunity for you to see your dad, to help your dad also, because I'm caring for my dad. And these moments will not be replaceable. In 10 years, I might not be able to do that anymore with my dad. So it's really important. Questions that brings me joy. Not only joy, but I would like to choose joy.
Thank you for that. And I will, for me, I think I always go back to remembering that joy already exists within me. I just get to choose to tap into it. Already exists there. Even with my big breakthrough that I had this morning, and that I'm currently processing through in my brain as we sit here talking, is that those things the things that I realized already existed. It was the ability to be able to pinpoint them and put a name to it and be able to finally verbalize and explain myself and what I mean. So being in this moment, in every moment, being present is truly what will bring me joy this week, as well as expressing my gratitude to all of the people that are individual feathers in my soft place to land. To express that is going to bring me immense joy this week.
Yeah, and also people that are no longer physically present, but they are still in my mind and in my heart, like my friend Angel, who passed away 10 days and 8 years ago.
Present. They are present. Any we could have a lot of conversations about this
Of
topic,
course.
Ollie, and I would love for you to share any final thoughts that you have with everyone about this topic, or what do you hope that people take away from today?
Well, I can share a lot of things and just let you know about some, because we don't know what we don't know. So there is someone, I don't know if you know, do you know Louis Hay affirmations?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Many years ago, someone turned them into questions, and it's
Mm.
called affirmations with an O instead of the I. And it's from Noah St. John. So I'm not going to the nitty gritty of the theory of these, but it's like awareness. If we are aware, we can open the door to explore with curiosity. So it's also to discover the questions that will uplift you, to recognize the question that is giving you shame, blame, sadness, and also to say it's okay if questions are generating other emotions than joy. Of course, it's important joy. I love to refer to inside out because without sadness, in the movie, without sadness, joy will not be able to get back to the command center. That's a spoiler alert. But it's like anger is important. Anger is more important than to be in apathy. Because anger, if it's directed correctly, could bring energy and then move up and do the things for justice, for any intention. So awareness is the first. What is the question that I would like to ask myself that brings me joy and that helps me to go forward?
Thank you for that. And guess what? Now I'm down a rabbit hole about ask formations. Um, and and I think I would love to, if you would be willing to talk about that the next time you're on the show. Can we continue this question
Oh,
conversation and talk about the ask formation?
no, in fact, it's affirmation.
No, I know
AFF.
affirmation, but ask
Yeah.
formations are go look at that up. Go look
Oh,
that up.
that,
Ask
you know
formations.
what? That's amazing. I share something, you share something, and we both gain something from
Yes.
each other's. That's
Yes.
the pure angel moment of the Breakthrough Show Network.
It is amazing what happens here, everybody. But I think that would be super fun to talk about on your next episode because you are just the person to go down that rabbit hole with, Ollie D. I love it. I love it. All right. It's time to do birthdays. Are you ready? Here we go.
Happy birthday to you.
All right, everybody. In the world of celebrity today, actor Rob Lowe is 63 years old today, everybody. Actor Kurt Russell is 76 years old today. I saw an interview with him the other day that made me laugh so hard because his both of his children are actors. His Goldie Hawn, not Goldie Hawn, sorry. No, it left me. Sorry. His daughter, his daughter, and also his son are actors. I don't know why I just said that, but either way, he was asked the question. Now that you've worked with everybody, who's your favorite to work with? And he was struggling for a minute there to to answer that question, but it was very heartwarming. So happy birthday, Kurt Russell. Also, the amazing musical artist Hosier is 37 years old today. Actor Gary Sinise, one of my favorite actors. He played Lieutenant Dan in Forrest Gump, among many other roles, is 72 today, everybody. Tamara Braxton, an incredible singer in her own right, sister of Tony Braxton, is 50 years old today. The big 50. Billy Corgan, singer for the Smashing Pumpkins, is 60 years old today, everybody. Sit with all of these for a moment.
Time flies.
And Patrick Duffy, an incredible actor, long time actor, 78 years old today. And I'm going to get to see him in just a couple of months at 90s Con. He was there last time I was there, but I didn't get to talk to him. This time it will be a priority. And speaking of 90s Con, it is also one of my new besties in my head, Brittany Daniel, has a birthday today. There's a little snapback from 90s Con with myself, my husband, and Brittany there. She was in White Chicks as well as Sweet Valley High from back in the day. And also, you might remember her from Joe Dirt, among many other movies. She's fantastic. So happy birthday, Brittany Daniel. And a celebrity in my life, April Harrington, has a birthday today. Happy birthday, April. Anybody that you are celebrating today, Ollie?
Not especially today, but as I'm going back next month, I would like to mention my dad because he will turn 77 on the 29th of March. So I know it's in 11 days, but I don't know if I will be able to express that in the next birthday party that you have each time. So I'm placing it right now because my dad is 77. It's the end of the 49-76 cycle. For anyone who knows, I'm 49, he's 76. I was born in 76, he was born in 49.
Wow.
So now it's going to end in 11 days. It will be 77.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. So what's your dad's first name?
Edgar, with a D at the end.
Edgar. Okay. Very nice. I'm always fascinated by people's names, especially in other countries and how the spellings are different and everything else. It's so funny, even with Leah, a lot of people here spell Leah Leah, and my Leah is not spelt that way. It's Lia, which is more of the Italian spelling of Leah than, Leah. Anyway. Okay. So we have lots of birthdays here to celebrate today. Here we go. Happy birthday to you.
Joyeux anniversaire.
Happy birthday, dear Rob Lowe, Kurt Russell, Hosier, Gary Sinise, Tamar Braxton, Billy Corgan, Brittany Daniel, Patrick Duffy, April, and Edgar. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday
to you. Happy birthday to all those that are celebrating. We just having a grand old time in the in the background back here. Anything that you want to announce or celebrate or anything this week, Ollie?
First, thank you everyone for participating in the chat. Everyone in the replay team. Thank you also Stacy, Teresa, Sang, and everyone in the audience that will also listen later. Thanks, Mike, yesterday for your share. Thanks, Jessica, for what you are doing. For me, what I would like to announce tomorrow, I have a show, Refresh Your Brain. And I was not having this last week, but now I feel really compelled to do it. And it will be also showing my Ripley space. And it's celebrating with joy and having gratitude. Having gratitude. GRASS. It's not about smoking, it's about enjoying nature. So it's announcing the joy for tomorrow and thanking my friends for being there in my journey, because your presence, including you, Jessica, is really important. Thank you.
It's a good day today. It's a good day today. Even if you woke up this morning and you thought, I don't know how I'm going to do this today. Even if you woke up this morning and thought, why me? Why this life? Why this moment? It's going to be a great day today because you are in it and you are the joy.
Change your questions, change your life. That's also the title of a book that I recommend from Mary Adams, To Change Our Questions.
There it is. Ask yourself, we'll change it to a question. How will today be amazing? How will today be amazing? Thank you, Oli, for joining us today. And we're going to see you next month. More words, more questions, more better answers. It's going to be fantastic. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas. This is Oli D. And we want to remind you to make joy a priority in your life today and every day. And we will see you next time, my friends. Bye, everybody.
À la prochaine!